start, please find your seats. Please. Standing needs to have a seat. There are some seats down here in the front. There are some seats here in the middle. Please come on down. We should have started 3 minutes ago.
Just start. Please show appreciation for the performers only by applause. Your behavior will be monitored by your teachers. A note to the teachers, if you have any students that need to be removed at any time from the assembly, just raise your hand and an administrator will come and take those students to student services. And one final reminder, we will dismiss by sections at the end of the assembly. Enjoy the show. Thank you.
Good morning, GHS. Thank you for coming to the Black Student Association's Pan-African Story. Hello, my name is Asai Alexander, and I'm a Luchi Lamama. We're the co-presidents of BSA. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Marine Color Guards. Thank you.
Lift every voice and sing, chill earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won.
Well, listen up now. I said I got some things on my mind. Allow me to express myself. Allow me to speak free. Allow me to go deep down in my mind, my imagination, dreams, unlimited possibilities, unforeseen. Address the player haters that want to disrespect me and intellect. Think like Einstein. This mic? Oh, my birthright. Hold on tight. Blaze it up, but y'all notice I'm doing it naturally. Take you all out of euphoric ecstasy. Recreate stories about birds and bees. Speak so free, effortlessly, into a mind of creativity, into a dimension of a connection, watch me flow. Deep down in my mind where I go, release into my soul, into the dimension of my connection, into a transformation, a manifestation. Speak in love with Mother Nature, hanging out with the man on the moon, surrounded by angels, standing on solid ground, feeling so profound, into the infinite wisdom, into the light. All of a sudden I meet tonight with my night, into where I stay endlessly, into a mind of creativity, and all of a sudden I just might clarity, I will say, allow me to step aside and pretend that God just took over this mic, and I turned Glendale High School into the first day of me. And each word I spoke was a spiritual blessing for everyone to hear and see. I closed my eyes. I opened my mind. I saw through my third eye. My internal dialogue became my guide. I became alive so that the producers of 8 Miles had to step aside because they realized I started off Crenshaw, Lamar Park. Fifth Street Dix is the institution that allowed me to simply be. Richard Fulton flows through me. Scrap lovers, Zulu spitting seas of a watermelon, black poetry. Soulful as greens, jambalaya, smothered steak, and peach cobbler pie. I was able to take you all on this Louisiana Southern high. Beyond HBO and BET, all of a sudden I spoke free effortlessly into my mind. turned the negative into the positive. I turned the dark into the light. I knew this fight was my birthright. I held on tight into this zone of infinite wisdom, never alone. Into where I soul searched deep, into where our mind was creep, into the intellect where thoughts were things, original ideas, into the embryo. I just knew I was right. Allow me to even pretend that Elijah Muhammad stood next to me, and he bared witness to another that would speak out the truths and realities of society. And he said, Assalamu alaikum. And I said, Wa alaikum salam. And Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X joined in. We started to party and sing like a white and work together as the true color of eternal light. Love was unconditional, colorblind, not separated by segregation. One mind, one time. Into where I would seek into the Middle East, deep for peace, where George Bush, Saddam, and Bin Laden started listening. And all of a sudden I would rise to the highest high. And I would reach out to you all and stop the violence. I teach you to preach and just release. Think consciously into where thoughts are things, into where the feelings are real. And I started believing into a mind where words are spoken incomplete yet conceiving. Into the truth, you know my lines aren't memorized or memorized. I speak from the highest high. I confess truth within the beholder, soul search deep. And all of a sudden my mind started to creep into this time. Glendale High School, the place to be. Standing on this stage, representing free. And to flow into the wind and plant a seed into you, back to me. As we just grow together in unification, unconditionally. And in this time, all I said as I rise to the highest high, one mind, one time, one mic, one nation, under God, into liberty and justice for all was my call. Not to teach or preach, just release deep until we all came together and understand. Allow it to be, simply be, you and me, into words of wisdom. I turn the physical into the mental. Dig deep into the intellectual, the spiritual. Vibe with the instrumental. Allow me simply to be. Spoken words. Thank you. Peace and blessings. I would like to welcome all our guests. I am Michael Lamasa. I'm a co-student advisor for the Black Student Association, along with Ms. Delania Simpson and Ms. Wanda Dorn. And what does Black history mean to us? The Black Student Association of Glendale High School was established in 1994. We welcome you to the 4th annual Black History Month Assembly. The purpose of BSA is to express our ideas, concerns, and activities by creating an atmosphere where students can conceive and empower themselves socially, academically, and intellectually, each in their own unique way. Our future goals? To continue our growth through social responsibility, by sharpening our academic skills and self-expression, by developing leadership skills, by being the home and the voice for our members, by being committed and encouraging unity, togetherness, and humanity amongst us all in this environment. We wish to thank and acknowledge our former club, Miss Carol Collins and Mr. Daniel Van Neg. Along with the supportive friends and the teachers, we'd like to thank Vice President Scott Adderley, along with Mr. Greg Williams, the auditorium director. We especially would like to thank with appreciation the co-principals, Ms. Wanda Dorn and Mr. Leroy Sherman, and the school secretaries, Ms. Marge Rader and Meryl Ann Fitzgerald. We do have some special guests here today that we would like to sincerely honor and recognize, and those that I call your name, just please raise your hand and be welcomed. First, members of the National Council of Negro Women, Ms. Lois Broughton. Peace and blessings. Along with her, Ms. Laverne Cummings. Members of the Glendale Unified School District Board members, Ms. Mary Boger. And I would like to invite to welcome his presence, Mr. Greg Kirkorian.
Good morning, guys. This is a precious day to all of us. And on behalf of the Glendale Board of Education, I would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute and celebrate Black History Month. Many people have sacrificed their dignity, their lives, their families, for all of us to have ownership of one word. And that word is freedom. I encourage and implore you to embrace this word. I have two short stories to reflect to you that are very enlightening and help me understand the true light of why we're all together and what happens and how we embrace the word freedom. And the first story is about my grandmother. And we all have had tragedies. And for my grandmother to witness her own father being hung in Armenia and move as an orphan to Cleveland, Ohio by herself, losing all her brothers and sisters, just to persevere, to keep her little flame alive. It's the same story that I reflected when I met a woman in Detroit, Michigan. And my father-in-law had a cleaners in downtown Detroit, and he introduced me to a lady, and he says, "Greg, you got to meet this lady." And when I met this lady, she looked up to me in her eyes. I looked in and I said, "What's your name?" And she said, "My name's Rosa Parks." She told me two words: "Greg, whatever you do in your life to carry on the American dream and your own personal dreams, stand up and be proud." Three important words: respect each other. Your club today, your fellow members of the Glendale High School, no matter how small or how large, they carry a big heart and they love you. And it's imperative that you respect their history and each other's histories. In today's time, as we confront possible war and terrorism, it's never more important today, as all students of Glendale High and faculty, that we hold hands together to weather the storm. And she told me, "Greg, live each day to the fullest. Use every breath you can to educate your friends and colleagues and your neighbors, to the many men and women that have sacrificed their lives, so you all can make a difference." So on behalf of my colleagues and our board and our teachers, be proud. Be proud of Glendale High and be proud of each other. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have a student we'd like to acknowledge. If she's participating in this assembly, we'd like to give her recognition by coming up, please. The winner of the Black Student Association Martin Luther King Poetry Contest, Alicia Rodriguez. She'll be receiving a check for $20 as well. And anybody that's interested at Glendale High School, the Black Student Association, we're going to start the spoken word movement in our meetings on Monday at lunch. And if you ever vibe with what I did in your classroom, or you'd like to just come and be with us, you all are welcome. Why do we celebrate Black History Month? In 1916, Carter Goodwin Woodson, an African-American historian, organized the observation of Negro History Week to focus attention on the heritage, individual, and collective contributions of African-Americans to building this nation. In the 1960s, during the height of the Civil Rights Movement, the Week of Observation was expanded to Black History Month. In 1991, President George Bush Sr. acknowledged Black History Month, and as in tradition, this assembly is dedicated to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In the movement, you will be taken in a moment of time where you are taken into a global track into Africa, the Pan-African, and the African-American cultural reality. We will try to create a knowledge and understanding by moving through the generations. What you're about to see is much more larger and grander than a book. So sit back and experience our story and our dreams. And now be ready to enjoy the Catherine Dunham Diva Dancers. They got their name from the great Catherine Dunham, did her undergraduate and graduate studies at the University of Chicago in anthropology. She became known for her interpretive dance of the West Indies and the United States. In the 1930s, she choreographed motion pictures and stages. So ladies and gentlemen, would you please interdance the Durham Divas?
Club heads, you feel me?
Wanda Dorn. I'm one of the advisors for the Black Student Association. B'Azeez and Assalamu Alaikum to some of my African brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Pan-African Story. It's a fashion play. Fashion and music is a universal language. In order to tell the Pan-African story, first we must explore the spirit of Sankofa. Sankofa is a Swahili word meaning one must return to the past in order to move forward. We must go first to the cradle of civilization, Africa. Recent archaeologist findings by the Leakey family point to Africa as the birthplace of man. We can no longer deny that we are all products of what Leakey calls the same genetic heritage. The largest migration in history came out of Africa. Pan-Africanism is a result of that. It is important to those of African American descent or African descent who find themselves physically lost from their homeland, the motherland of Africa. Henry Sylvester Williams, a West Indian legal advisor to West Africans in Britain, and W.E.B. Du Bois, a writer and publisher from the United States, called the first Pan-African Conference in Paris in 1919, from out of Africa to all parts of the world. Before the Greek invasion, Egypt was called the land of Kemet, meaning the black land. When Egypt flourished, ancient Rome was just a village of simple farmers and shepherds, scattered over hills and in caves. Egypt's first pyramid was erected by 3 African people, home of King Solomon and Alexander the Great and Queen Nefertari. And did you know it was a black Egyptian that invented the doctor's stethoscope? Pan-Africans that came out of Egypt, the Tower of Giza, Luxor, Aswan, and Alexander. Nigeria. Today, Nigeria is the richest of the African countries. Our model is indeed from Nigeria herself. Nigeria languages spoken, and we thought we were diverse. Pan-Africans came from Nigeria. And did you know that in 1865, a chef named Harold Thomas created one of young people's favorite foods, the potato chip. Cuba, home of the Afro-Cubans. In 1926, Fernando Ortiz founded the Society of Afro-Cuban Studies to develop Cuban pride and understanding of Black contributions to the island's culture. Cubans of ancestry, of African ancestry, like the Afro-Cubans, the people from the Caribbean as well, are called Afro-Caribbeans. Thus, the Pan-African movement and ideology continues. And did you know that Ronald McNair was the astronaut that was killed in the Challenger explosion? They left Africa and some came to Cuba and the other islands. Ghana once was called the Gold Coast or the Ivory Coast. Down through Angola, Nigeria, Ghana, and the Congo is the primary locations where the slave ships set sail. When the slaves first arrived in the Americas, they were called illiterate, but they were pre-literate. They spoke many languages. However, they could not communicate with each other because the only universal language they had were the drums, and they were removed, so they could not communicate back to home that they were not being indentured servants, but they were indeed being captured as slaves. They came from out of Ghana. Ethiopia, one of the world's largest countries, the oldest independent country in Africa, known in ancient times as Abyssinia. Legend has it that Ethiopian monarchs are descendants of Solomon and Queen Sheba. The languages of Amharic, a Semitic and Cushite language, of Hebrew and Arabic began in Ethiopia. Did you know that the Ethiopians were using a plow